Whether you have a diagnosis or not, I don't care. I'll teach you how to find what's causing your health struggles using the blood work you already have right here on this podcast, but also in my new book, Why Are My Labs Normal? Go grab it on Amazon and let me know you love it and appreciate the knowledge by leaving a review for both the book and this podcast. In fact, this July, we are having a contest. This contest is for practitioners, and every practitioner who participates will receive my new step-by-step guide, How to Attract the Right Clients and Build Your Business with Social Media and Live Workshops, not paid ads. There will be 3 grand prize winners who will receive free access into my next Master Bloodwork live and virtual event, which is a value of $1,200 each. To get inside this contest and giveaway, you will need to subscribe and review the podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. You can get all the details and join this contest at the link in the bio. Winners will be chosen at random for the grand prize and announced on the podcast on August 9th. So be sure to subscribe. Also, this season 5, is going to be new, directed more for practitioners on Thursday episodes. So Tuesday episodes will be, as we all know and love. Thursday episodes are for practitioners and practitioners only, for the most part. This podcast is also sponsored by my favorite supplement companies, Systemic Formulas and My Biome. Come join me inside their private Facebook group for practitioners called Systemic Formulas Clinical Nutrition. For everybody to learn more, join Systemic Formulas on Instagram. All right, let's get started. Welcome to the Beyond the Diagnosis podcast with me, Dr. Kylie. If you are struggling to regrow your hair, whether you feel like it's falling out faster than it grows, or whether you're postpartum, or you're hitting that gene that just falls inside your family and you're really struggling with that hair, before you go grab what you see on the commercials, you need to listen to this because Alysha is here. She is the hair doctor. Doctor.
Hey.
And she's going to walk us through 5 natural ways to regrow your hair and why you should avoid those products that you see on TV. Alysha, welcome on.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, just so you guys know, go follow Alysha on Instagram at HairDocta KCMO. So Kansas City, Missouri is what the KCMO stands for. And that's where her brick and mortar practice is. But Instagram is the best place to learn. We'll post the links in the comments. But it's HairDocta KCMO.
Absolutely.
All right, Alysha. To get it started off here, tell us one of your favorite transformational stories about with one of your patients.
Sure. So, gosh, I would say let's dial it back. So I'm going to go 6 years back when I was maybe 3 years into practicing trichology, and I had my very first CCCA patient or client. So for those of you who don't know what CCCA is, it is a inflammatory, basically, it's an inflammatory form of alopecia, and it's located in the crown of the head, and it can progress forwardly or backwards. And with that form of alopecia, it's very, very sensitive to touch. It itches, it burns. It's just a very irritating, inflammatory area of the scalp. A lot of products harm, a lot of products hurt, cause discomfort. The hair does fall out. It is a scarring type of alopecia. So I know I'm jumping ahead. There's 2 types. There's scarring and non-scarring. And scarring is basically classified as irreversible hair regrowth. So you can have alopecia and have it to be either scarring or non-scarring. If it's non-scarring, the hair is able to come back. So back to my story, I had my very first CCCA client about 6 years ago, and she was an elder lady. And in my field, we all know elderly people are one of the ones who are the most challenged in restoring hair, just due to so many internal factors. So this lady was on a lot of medication. She had a lot of health challenges. And she was very, let's just say, not coherent to taking a lot of supplements that I recommended. And on top of that, she couldn't move around a lot. So I require a lot with my program. And long story short, she was not able to do everything that I had incorporated for her to do in my program. And she had scarring. I told her when we first started the program that I would not be able to return her hair 100%. She said, "Oh no, you will. God told me you would." She's very religious. And she said, "I prayed about it and God sent me to you." And she told me, she said, "I'm going to stay here until my hair comes back." And I said, "Okay, well, I'm letting you know. So this is an investment. Don't get mad at me if it doesn't. Research shows that scarring alopecia is irreversible." Kylie, let me tell you, within a matter of 6 months, I got this lady's hair to regrow. And I was astounded. I couldn't believe the results that she achieved with only partially doing my program. And so with that being said, that was my very first. I was scared. I was nervous. I even told her I was nervous with her doing the investment as much as it was. And evidently, God told her something that he didn't tell me. She trusts the process. And anytime somebody starts with me, I always tell them, you have to trust the process. It is a process. Healing is a process, as most doctors know. So to answer your question, I would say I helped an elderly challenged woman who partially participated in my program restore about 80% of her hair in a scarring inflammatory condition. Amazing.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, you have 5 steps in which you walk people through this. Walk us through the first step.
Yes. So first step is always going to be detoxification of the scalp. Anybody that comes to me know that I'm a stickler for detoxifying the hair and the scalp. You have to remove debris, chemicals, pollution, medication, all of that builds up inside the follicle. So I'll back it up again. And I like to say back it up because a lot of people don't understand that everything that we put in our body goes directly to the follicle. Everything. So if you're on a lot of medications, you eat horribly, you smoke, you drink, all that goes to the follicle. So you have to remove. Yes, you have to remove all of that. And when I say all of that, there's steps to it. I will have to go deeper into that, but that's my very first step is detoxifying the follicles, the scalp, and the hair. So thereafter, you can receive everything that I have to offer within my clinical therapies. You can receive all the nutrients, all the vitamins. You can start to stimulate and rebuild, reform, all of that.
So detoxifying the scalp, which would include getting rid of the toxins that are going to the follicle.
Absolutely. The toxins come from internal and external. So it builds up from an external and an internal factor or pathway, shall I say.
Yeah, people like to hear the word detoxify and they think, I have to do some cleanse or something like that. What would you recommend from detoxifying the scalp? What can they do right now to start that process?
Right now, I like to resort to telling people to do natural clays. So in my former days, before I knew better, I would do actual scrubs. And I'm not downplaying scrubs, but scrubs can actually proliferate and cause damage to the scalp and the follicles with all the scrubbing, trying to remove all the plaques and the skins and the dermatitis, all of those things that are hard to remove just on its own with shampooing. So I would say a clay, an extracting clay, volcanic clays. So you have your bentonite clay. You can go anywhere and find any type of mineral clay is what I like to tell people to start with. Of course, I use other agents. I use medical grade protein dissolvents in my clinic. And I also do still use clays, but I incorporate, with me being an herbalist, I incorporate herbs and tinctures into my clay. So I do a lot with my clays. Mine's are more enhanced, but you can use an extraction clay.
Cool. That's something this is like all new to me. I know the minerals and how to supplement that, those kind of things, but as far as detoxifying the scalp, it's completely new. So that's really cool. Yeah. So step 1, detoxify the scalp. And again, go follow her, Alysha, on Instagram. That has all the places where you can get started with her if any of this resonates with you. Step number 2, diet.
Yes. So with the diet, of course, we all know fruits and vegetables and eating clean and healthy has a big, major part of us staying healthy. So if the body isn't healthy, the hair isn't going to be healthy. That's what I tell people all the time. You eat like crap, your hair is going to grow like crap. Is what I like to say. So removing the bad guys, with me being a functional nutrition and practitioner counselor, I like to tell people to remove the non-negotiables, and that's going to be your dairy, your soy, your refined sugars, the gluten, and so on. But everybody is different, and I assess everyone differently once they come to me. So I would like to say, removing the bad stuff, putting the good stuff in. And the good stuff is going to be basically all of your phytonutrients, your phytochemicals. There's going to be your anti-inflammatories, your antioxidants, all of those forms of vegetables and fruits and meats. Of course, protein. We need protein. Even if you disagree with me, we all need protein. It's a big part of the strength in our hair. A lot of people like to resort to biotin. Biotin helps strengthen the hair, but not grow the hair. But while you're looking for hair regrowth, what biotin doing is strengthening the hair, whereas you need a biotin and an antioxidant and a stimulant at the same time to help force that new hair growth out of the follicle, especially if it's weakened and you are deficient in a lot of areas.
Cool. Step number 3, supplementation.
Yes, just speaking about supplementation. So with the supplements that I like to use, I like to tailor everyone's supplement. So there's not like a one fits all when it comes to my practice. But I will tell you, supplementation with your vitamin D, hands down, your D3, your K2, your magnesium, you're going to need your selenium. You definitely are going to need phytochemicals in forms of like resveratrol. Gosh, there's so many, but you're going to need
minerals, vitamins, all the good stuff. You need that good stuff.
Yes. Anything anti-inflammatory as well. A lot of hair loss stems 90%, in my opinion, behind inflammation.
And then the next word, stress.
Yes.
That's step 5. So we gotta get to step 4 first. So we've detoxified the scalp in step 1. We've tackled some dietary key factors in step 2. Step 3, supplementation in addition to that dietary stuff, because it doesn't replace. Step number 4 is stimulating follicles.
Yes.
It's actually the hair follicles, that we can stimulate them to help
Absolutely.
them.
Yes. So with the stimulation, I like to incorporate external factors as far as stimulation. There's products, herbs, essential oils, things that are going to stimulate and oxygenate the follicle. So you need oxygen, you need stimulation, and you need circulation. So I don't like to just address stimulation. I like to address stimulation, circulation, and oxygen at the same time. With that, I do have modalities in my clinic that I like to use, like red light therapy, frequencies, stimulating herbs, stimulating shampoos, stimulating factors like needling. That's definitely a big factor in blood flow. So that's where the circulation comes into play. You're also going to want to do internal nutritional intake that's going to help stimulate and cause blood flow and oxygen to the follicles, but actually throughout the entire body. So when you lack iron, of course, what's that? Oxygen, right? Blood flow. You're going to definitely need things like pepper, curcumin, turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, all of those circulatory foods that definitely help stimulate the follicle. You also
This is all stuff I've never even thought about, but it's so necessary and so real. A much need, whether it's like someone who has a gene in their family, or I remember postpartum the first time. Like, what the heck? Where's all my hair going? And now I have these little tiny growths everywhere. No one told me that you lose your hair after you go through labor and delivery.
Absolutely. I was a victim of that 3 times and lost my hair around my perimeter very bad. And luckily I am a hair loss practitioner and I was able to bring it back within due time.
Yeah.
But I'm well versed in postpartum alopecia. It can be also referred to as diffuse hair loss, telogen effluvian. You can also activate male pattern or female pattern baldness. There's a lot of factors in that. Also, there was one thing I was going to say as far as, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought, but I'm sorry.
Well, we'll get back to it, whatever it was. Step number 5, we got to heal some emotions.
Yes. So no matter what you do internally, externally, if you are struggling emotionally, mentally, if you have not healed from a past trauma or a current trauma, a death, that definitely puts a foothold on your healing. And of course, as we know, if you are not in your parasympathetic state, you're in your sympathetic state, right? Your fight or flight. You need to be in your rest and digest state in order for healing to even begin. I like to always address the central nervous system with all of my clients that approach me. And believe it or not, 9 times out of 10, most of my clients are dealing with trauma, chronic stress.
Mine too. I mean, let's say 99 out of 100, because it's a lot higher than 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
And we're human, guys. We have big T traumas. We all have little T traumas. It's journey of life. And as you've been listening to this podcast, you know I talk about this all the time. You can only take supplements for so long. There's not a physical cure that's going to ever heal the emotional and the trauma cure.
Yes.
You got to tackle all aspects of the body and healing at the same time.
Yes. Kylie, I have a quick story. I've worked with a few clients that did everything that I asked them to do to a T, up to 8 months on my program. And they were getting results, but not how I expected it and not how I know for it to do. And once we started to address the trauma, the healing, the stress that they were covering, because I would always ask my clients, we always have a session and I'm trying to figure out and navigate what they're dealing with and how I can further help me. And a lot of people like to hide that. A lot of people don't like for you to know that they're going through something. They want to make life seem like it's perfect, right?
You got to look the part.
Yeah. And once I made them comfortable, you have to make them comfortable to where they can trust you to open up. And once you do that and you start to understand what they're actually going through, you can help them address that and help guide them with that healing. And when I tell you, Kylie, it's nothing like internal healing to help regrow someone's hair. I mean, it's nothing like it. And I've really transformed my practice into helping with trauma-filled clients. It's life-changing. A lot of people don't even know that they need to heal. A lot of people think that they've already healed or they're over it or they forgave when they really hadn't.
And we're talking about emotional kind of therapy. This is more than just counseling. This is more than just, receiving tips and tricks on how to navigate this stuff. This is like being able to physically release the emotions that are buried with events and
yes. It's
much deeper than
I am told a lot that I should go ahead and go to school to be a counselor. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
When I'm already getting the job done now. What you want me to just get a paper?
Get a piece of paper, exactly. I know.
To get the credentials so I can charge more. I'm not about the money. I really like to help people where they're at. So
walk us through another patient example as we finish up here.
Yeah. So I like to. A lot of people are dealing with infection, chronic infection, hidden infections. I have been one of them for the longest until I started to understand and address chronic infection and hidden infection properly. So you
get the blood work because the blood work tells you a lot of things. Alysha does the blood work too.
Yes, I do. Yes. I've gone through Dr. Kylie's 90-day program to become a functional blood work specialist. Okay. You guys don't know what you're missing out on.
Quite soon.
Yes. So I'm going to use me as an example. Let me give you me as being my own patient. I had 6 amalgam fillings in my mouth up until 2 years ago when I got them removed. And my hair has always been really thick growing up as a child and into teenage years until after I had my very first child. After I had her, you know, they always say, not sure how true this is, but after every child, you lose a tooth. I don't know if you've heard that before, but after my first child, I lost 4 teeth. My teeth, I lost all 4 of my wisdoms, and I did not want those gone because I already have like a very slender shape. And I know the more you lose teeth, the more skinnier your face becomes. So long story short, I was getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker by the year. Hair was getting thinner. I was having a hard time getting well. I was having a hard time healing until I finally was in a training where I learned about amalgam fillings and how they were so toxic and detrimental to your health. So I went and got those removed, Kylie, and let me tell you, that's where my healing began. So I started my healing journey 10 years ago, but it actually began 2 years ago because I couldn't heal because of all the toxic mercury leaching into my body, the tissues of my brain, everything. So with that being said, after I got those removed, my hair density has returned back to normal. My hair growth is growing faster than I haven't seen my hair grow as fast since I was maybe a little girl, and I've had the amalgams since I was a little girl. Also, with that being said, hidden infections. I was talking about hidden infections. When I got those mercury amalgam removed, I was going to a biological dentist, and he said, you have an abscess. And I said, I do. He said, where? He said, right up under your root canal. I said, oh. So he offered to do another root canal. But at the time, I had a lot of training on the detriments of root canals. And I said, we can go ahead and just take this bad boy out. So long story short, when he took the root canal out, I had several more abscesses in my jawbone, in the bone of my jaw. Had to get those surgically removed. And I can't express how much my health has improved since removing the hidden infection that I had no idea about that was up underneath the tooth, up underneath the jawbone, up underneath the root canal.
Did they have to do a special imaging for that?
Yes, you do. You have to do, what is it called?
I don't know. I just know there's some type of special imaging that you have to do.
It is special imaging, and I do know it, just not off the top of my head. I'm normally educating my clients about it, but I'll have to get back with you with that information. But it is special imaging that you'll do. And that imaging is the only one that's going to show you the hidden infections. So people walking around with root canals and bridges and all types of dental work, all those infections can root and you won't even know it. You won't have signs and symptoms. Your tooth won't hurt. You won't have the smelly tooth. You won't have I didn't have any of that. None of it. Anyway, got that hidden infection out of my mouth, and healing has been uphill ever since. So I like to address hidden infection, and of course, taking your course. I know this is not about your course, but it's been everything to me in my practice. Understanding the CDC and the differential. I love the differentials.
So do I. The differential's awesome.
Oh my gosh, I love differentials. First thing I go to, but addressing the triggers, the infections have been everything in my practice. Everything.
Yeah, it's so much helpful when you can get that infection gone that's causing this systemic problem. Yes. And that systemic problem is going to result for you could have been hair loss, for someone else it's going to be Hashimoto's, for someone else it's going to be MS. You know, it's just dependent upon one, your genes, and two, where's the weak point in your body.
Absolutely.
So, okay, super cool. Alysha, if you were to lose everything, if you're to lose your practice, your following, it all, and start over from the ground up, what would you do?
Gosh, that is such a deep question. So I honestly would virtually take my practice 100%. I'm maybe 30% virtual right now. I would do virtual practice until I find me another brick and mortar. Let's see, what else would I do? I would probably.
How would you build up your following?
I would start my social medias all over again. Do some field work. I'm a people person and I like being around people. I mean, it's nothing like community, right? Face to face, that handshake is nothing like that face to face, but virtual is the thing now. So I'm not downplaying that. But rebuild social media by foot. I'll start doing conferences, start getting on people's podcasts like yours, getting myself out
podcasts
there.
are huge. You guys are a practitioner and you're listening to this. Go get on people's podcasts. They're a big deal.
Yes.
As you've heard many times from mine. So, all right, Alysha, check her out at Instagram at HairDocta, KCMO on Instagram, and follow her. She will help you regrow your hair. That is her specialty. Thanks, Alysha.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you joined me today on this episode of the Beyond the Diagnosis with Dr. Kylie podcast. Remember, if you're a practitioner, you need to get inside this contest and giveaway. Check the link below to get all the details, and you can get my free step-by-step guide and get placed inside the possibility of becoming a grand prize winner and receive free access into my next Master Bloodwork live and virtual event. It's coming up soon. So grab everything you need at the link below, join the contest, get the goodies, and I'm here to help you. Why? Because we're all in this together. Come join me inside the Systemic Formulas Facebook group for practitioners. It's also a private group called Systemic Formulas Clinical Nutrition. Everybody else, go join Systemic Formulas on Instagram, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for joining me.